Hey everyone, Chris of Midlife Crisis Media here for the 7th and final installment of my Sony PlayStation 4 video game collection 2023s. So this is the last one I'm going to use, or this is the last one that's all about my PlayStation 4 collection. Might be a shorter stream today because we're at the very end of my console, and I want to say we're like a shelf short of what I've been doing. Usually I take 3 shelves of my games to talk about per stream. This is like almost 2, maybe just over 2. So less than normal. Also going to be the last one of these video game collection streams for 2023. Starting next year, next Thursday, I'll be starting on a whole new console. Now these will be called Video Game Collection 2024 live streams, because logic. So let me get a little drink here before we get started. All right, let's just jump right into it. But first, why do I do these streams? 4 reasons. It's fun. It's good content for the channel. Get to talk to awesome people. And it's good to have a visual record of your entire collection just in case something bad happens. I don't want to say what they are. I don't want to curse myself. Anyway, let's get going. So I stopped at the end of the T's last time. So now we're in the U's and everything toward the end. Starting off with a classic, Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3. I absolutely loved Part 3, the standard version, on the PlayStation 3. And then the upgraded version, I do believe, also came out on the PS3. But when it came out on the PS4, I think it was at the start. It was a GameStop exclusive because I remember Radical Reggie saying something about this, like not being like widely available at that point, and I ended up having to really search for a copy of my own. And I remember having to go to like 3 GameStops to get a copy. Eventually, I just found it online and had it shipped to one of the stores by me, and I went and picked it up there. And it's a fantastic game in the franchise. Probably, I wouldn't say it's my favorite. I want to say Marvel vs. Capcom 2 is probably still my favorite. It's got that iconic music, "I'll take you for a ride," and all that. But it's an awesome one-on-one fighting game. You get 3 characters on your side, on your team, and you can swap them out during the fight. It's super fast. I remember streaming some of this on Twitch, and I was absolutely like, if there's one fighting game that you can get by like just smashing buttons, it's this one. And I remember I was on Twitch streaming, and I was absolutely demolishing the competition. I was playing against the computer. I think I was playing at like medium difficulty, and I was just annihilating the people I was playing against, or the computer. And someone was watching and was just kind of like, "Jesus Christ, you're a freaking beast." And I was just like, "Yeah, I know." But yeah, it was most of the time it was just me just doing controller movements and slapping buttons really, really fast. Like I said, you can get by really well doing that. But kind of like Tekken, it helps to know the ins and outs of the combat, which takes a while for me. I'm used to like Mortal Kombat style, but this is a little more fast paced. I remember one of my friends who I haven't spoken to in quite a while or whatever, when I said that I was super excited about Mortal Kombat 10 coming out, they were like, "Yeah, it's no Marvel vs. Capcom." I was like, "Well, at least you have to think about your moves in Mortal Kombat, and you can't just slap buttons like you can in like Marvel vs. Capcom games." And he got quiet after that. He didn't say anything to retort. So fun game, super awesome. I just remember it took quite a bit of doing to get a copy of that. Next up, we have this. I got this from a friend. I had just mentioned to them that I was looking to add it to my collection because I want it, because I'm a huge fan of this series. And they were like, "Oh, we have one if you want it. We're not going to play it again." I guess they beat all 3 games. So they're like, "You can just have it." So the next time we met up, they handed it over to me, and that is the Uncharted Nathan Drake collection. This has the first 3 Uncharted games on it. What's up, Stubby? I like Infinite. I just think, yeah, they were trying to do something different with it. I do like that it had a story mode this time around, but the story was kind of dumb. But I mean, I give them credit for trying to do something different. Did it work 100% of the time? No, but I appreciate it. But I don't think it's like awesome or anything. But anyway, Uncharted Nathan Drake collection, first 3 games remastered on the PS4, and they're awesome games. Well, I'll talk about my thoughts. So Uncharted 1, I played it when it first came out. I was originally on the PlayStation 3. Excuse me. It was given to me as a gift for Christmas from a friend. And it wasn't too long after it came out, I think. And I played through it in like 4 days, man. I absolutely loved it. It was like this adventure action game that I didn't know I ever wanted or needed, but I'm glad that it existed. I absolutely loved it. And I think I brought it up before that back in, might have been 2008. I don't think it was 2009. I think it might have been 2008. I got involved in a college, like I think it was like a doctorate study or a PhD study of like the emotional attachments people get to video games. I can't remember exactly what the topic was. It was like how you get emotionally involved in video games or whatever. And like I had to invite like these college students over to my apartment. I invited a bunch of friends over, and the college people bought us pizzas. There were going to be prizes and all that. We had to make a collage of like what they called like the emotions you feel when you're playing a video game. And we had to like make a collage and present it. And whoever had the best collage was going to win an iPod, I do believe it was. And we ended up talking like all night long about like the way video games made us feel when we played them. And we ended up having to talk about like what we thought our favorite modern game was. And I picked Uncharted, the first one. I ended up winning that collage contest, and I got the iPod, and I ended up giving it to I think a friend of mine, it might be my brother, for Christmas that year. Like I re-gifted it because I already had one. So I absolutely loved the first one, even though it always on my PlayStation 3 at least, it always froze up during this scene when you're in the caverns and you're being chased by those like white creatures that like lived in the caves, and you're running toward the camera. And it was like the moment you would start running toward the camera, the game would freeze up and crash. And the 2 times that I played through it on my PS3, it did it both times. And I was like, it must be just something built into the game, because it was 2 different PlayStation 3s I played it on, and it did it on both. So outside of that, I thought it was really fun. Part 2 came out, and Part 2 just completely rocked my world. Like I got so like if that college study had come after I had played Uncharted 2, it would have been a totally different story, because this one got me so emotionally involved in the characters that when, you know, spoiler alert if you haven't played Uncharted 2, but you know, it's been over 10 years, so shame on you. When they make you think that Elena dies, I got mad. I almost cried. I turned the game off and walked away, and I'm like, I cannot believe this game did that, because I loved Elena as a character. I thought she was great, and I was pissed off that they freaking killed her off. And I was just like, I don't want to play this right now. I can't do it. Like I was legit upset. But then I forced myself to continue like a day later, and lo and behold, she's not dead. It was like, you know, a big switcheroo kind of situation. Then I was mad again for the game making me think that she was dead and putting me through like that emotional roller coaster. So, I mean, like, kudos to the people at Naughty Dog. Like, they really know how to pull at least my strings. But I thought the play control and everything about the second one was way better. The story was way better. I liked the flashbacks. I liked the new character with Chloe. I just thought it was absolutely fantastic. My best game, my favorite game of that year, like, bar none. And then Part 3, like, because I like Part 2 so much, Part 3 comes out, and I'm, like, super hype. I cannot wait to play it. And then, like, I don't know what I was expecting, but like Part 3 just like really let me down. The story I thought was really cliche, and kind of the ending was a little anticlimactic. I was like, all that shit that you just made me go through, and this is the ending that we get, which is just kind of like, yeah, whatever, let's go home. And I was like, that's it? That's all we get? I'm like, for the big cap off of the series, because there was no announcement there was going to be a 4th one. We thought it was going to be a trilogy. So I'm like, you're going to go out like that? I'm like, fuck you. So Part 3 is probably my least favorite of the 3. I was not a fan of where the story ended up going, but still a good game. Don't get me wrong. Like everything before the ending was great. So outside of that, I have not played this collection yet, so I don't know just how upgraded they are. But I have played all 3 games multiple times outside of this collection. But I wanted to have it because I love the series so much. Which leads us to Uncharted 4: A Thief's End. This I did not see coming. I did not think they were going to make a 4th one, because like I said, most people thought that it was going to be a trilogy. Not sad that they did, because this is tied for my favorite in the series next to Part 2. Like, depending on what day it is, I could go either way. I could either say 4 or 2 is the best one, or my favorite one in the series. This one finally dropped all the supernatural, like, mysticism stuff like the Indiana Jones movies always have. You know, this one is just about pirates. It just keeps it real. And I was kind of glad about that, but I do love Part 2's story. So, like I said, it can go either way. But this one is absolutely fantastic. The longest one of the bunch. It is a little open worldy at times, but they add in Drake's brother, and like he's kind of a scumbag at times, and he's also kind of awesome. And by the end of the game, you do end up loving him just as much as you love Nathan. Absolutely fantastic game. And I love the way it ends this time. Like, they actually have like a post-game epilogue kind of thing where you play a little bit more, which I'm not going to spoil, which was absolutely fantastic. And I'm sitting there going like, well, if they decide to keep on going with the series, this is the perfect way to do it, to have it follow this specific character around from now on, and it wouldn't feel out of place. So I ended up picking up the special edition, because, you know, I got it. It's Uncharted. And the special edition comes with this interior box, which opens up and has this hardcover art book inside, which shows you a lot of the concept art for characters, the environments, the enemies, There's a new enemy who is introduced here who ends up becoming important in later game, which I thought was great too, played by Laura Bailey. And the game in this set came in a steelbook, which I think has a fantastic collage of the characters here. This character right here, I can never remember her name, but she's the one who ends up having a big part in the next game. And on the back, you've got pirates in a cage. And you got the game, you got some stickers, and you've got a code for the online portion of Part 4, which I've never played. I don't have any interest in playing online. I just care about the story. But absolutely fantastic game. Love it, love it, love it. I love when game stories make you think and feel. Silent Hill 2 will forever be burnt into my heart when I got the real ending, and then they did it again with Shattered Memories, you evil genius. Yeah, I still need to play through Silent Hill 2. Like, I've played through it a lot back in the day, and I don't know if I got stuck or what, but I remember I stopped playing it. But I always mean to go back and play through it. But also the thing is, did I do everything right to get the actual ending? Because if there's one thing I hate, I give the developers credit for trying to make you or like convince you that you should play the game multiple times in order to get like multiple endings. But at the same time, I just want to play the game once and move on to another game. I don't have to keep replaying the same one and do different things in order to get different endings. So that kind of annoys me. But that's just me. But then the game that I didn't see coming, I'm assuming this was supposed to be DLC at some point, but it turned into a separate game because it came out like less than 2 years after Uncharted 4. And that is Uncharted: The Lost Legacy. So this one follows around Chloe, who was introduced in the second game, and the new character, who I don't remember what her freaking name is. Nadine, who's played by Laura Bailey from Critical Role. I'm going to call it Critical Role. And I played through this on stream, on Twitch, in one sitting. Like, I sat down, I think it was like 8 o'clock at night, and I was like, and I had the next day off. I think it was like a Friday night I started doing it. I played through it until Saturday. So I was like, I'm gonna see how far I can get before I start getting tired. And before I knew it, the game was over. At first, I wasn't digging it because it feels like you're just kind of exploring an area and you're just looking for things to pick up and add to your collection. And it wasn't really much story going on. It didn't really feel like Uncharted, because Uncharted is like set pieces and like, characters talking, and here it was just characters like quipping with each other, and you're just kind of going through these ruins in this big open area. And then I'm like, okay, if this is all the game has to offer, this is kind of shitty. And then all of a sudden, like, this bomb hits, and all of a sudden like story bomb hits, and it turns into this action movie type of thing that just does not stop. And I did not want to stop playing, and I ended up beating it in one sitting. And like I said, I started playing it at 8 p.m. and I don't think I beat it until like 5 a.m. the next day. And I was nuts. Absolutely ended up loving it because, like I said, it had a slow start, but it got so good toward the end. Had a great time with it. I should probably play through it again. Now that I know that Laura Bailey, now I know who Laura Bailey really is. I can listen for her voice and all that. Picked this one up because of a game on the PS3 that Radical Reggie talked me into buying at GameStop. Like, I actually went looking for it because he talked about it so much. And then released, like, I don't know if this is supposed to be a sequel or like one of those, like, Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo kind of situations where it's just the original game just added on, or more added on content. And that is Under Night in Birth EXE Late Est. I guess it has a late and then brackets ST, which makes me think that this is just an add-on, which just says 2D fighting steps back to the forefront. New in-births kick the Hollow Knight battles into overdrive. But I don't remember. I haven't played this one yet, but I have played the one on the PS3 quite a bit, and it's a one-on-one fighting game that's completely 2D animated. It's kind of like playing a Blaze Blue game or a Guilty Gear game. And it's really, really fun. The characters are really likable. But I picked this one up at my local game store, and you can see how much I paid for it. I haven't had a chance to play it yet, though. I probably should. I mean, duh, I own it. Haven't played this one yet either. It's still sealed, but this is one that I'm torn on because on one hand, one of my good friends tells me that it's like one of the best games they've ever played, and then one of my other good friends tells me it's one of the worst games they've ever played. So I don't know. Like, eventually I'll get around to playing it, but I was glad that Fangamer ended up putting out a physical edition because this was digital for the longest time. And that is Undertale, the friendly RPG where nobody has to die. You can actually beat this game without, like, killing anybody, and you get, like, a special ending for doing it or whatever. But, like, Church the Game Grinder said this was, like, one of the best games he's ever played, and then Jason from Corpse Flood Gaming said it was one of the worst games he's ever played. Like, he absolutely hated it. So it's an RPG that's, like, old school. It's all in pixel graphics. And, like, it was really, really, like, highly reviewed. Like, I mean, like, the critics loved it. I remember it got great reviews. People were talking about it all the time when it first came out. But, like, you know me, I'm not going to buy a digital game if I don't have to. So I didn't, and I waited for the physical, and I still haven't been able to bring myself to play it because of all the conflicting opinions I get. I'm like, will I like it? Will I not like it? I don't want to waste my time on something I'm going to not like. I'll play it eventually. It's just I'm in no rush to do so. So there's that. What's up, Retro Coop? Have played this one. I need to play it again, though. And that is Until Dawn. So this is by Supermassive Games. It's an interactive horror movie that stars Hayden Panettiere and Rami Malek, who played Freddie Mercury in the Queen movie that came out a few years ago. And Brett, I can't remember what his last name is, Brett something. He was on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., but it's like an interactive horror movie, like I said, where you make choices, kind of like Detroit Become Human or Beyond Two Souls, and characters might die, characters might get away. You're in an isolated cabin out in the woods in winter, and there's something hunting you guys, and it's like a party going on kind of thing. And like I was doing so well. Same thing that happened when I played Detroit Become Human. I was doing so well at the start where nobody was getting hurt, nobody was dying or whatever, and then I made one mistake and it just started this domino effect where like all of a sudden I just started screwing everything up and this character started dying. And then at the end of the game, I panicked and I pressed the wrong button on the controller and I did something really stupid and a bunch of characters died. And I got an ending that was, I guess, okay, but I could have saved at least 2 more characters by not doing this one thing. So I kind of want to go back and do it again to try to not make stupid mistakes and panic. But it's absolutely fantastic. It was super fun and well made. It like I said, it feels like you're playing a horror movie. It's great. So absolutely love that. I'm one of my friends who think Undertale is overrated. So that's the way Jason is. But like Church, on the other hand, is like, it's amazing. And then he went and played the pseudo sequel or whatever. I can't remember what it was called. But he went, or Alpha something, or I can't remember. But he went and played that one too. I can't remember when I picked this one up. It wasn't too long ago. I think I got this Black Friday last year. But Area Chronicles Remastered. This is the tactical RPG from Sega. And I remember everybody was talking about it. And I have played this before. Oh, Nintendo was streaming it on Twitch. And I was watching it. I was like, this looks super awesome. Because I love a good tactical strategy game. Like, XCOM kind of thing. But this one is like kind of World War II-esque looking. It isn't during that. But it just has that like feel to it. And I was like, I need to play this. So I ended up picking up a copy on Black Friday for really cheap. So there's that. There's another one I got for Black Friday like 2 years ago, I think. Maybe more. Vampire. I remember getting this one from a big-ass GameStop sale that they had. And apparently they sold out, and like my shipment came like really late because they had to get more copies in so they can fill the orders. And this one is another kind of like interactive movie kind of thing where you make choices. But you're playing as a vampire. Yeah, cursed be the choice. Become the savior or the stalker, or whether of interconnected citizens reacts to your decisions. Fight and manipulate with supernatural abilities. I really wanted to play it, and I just kept putting it off, and now it's like, does it even matter anymore? Valkyria, amazing game. Another heartstring story. I'll play it eventually. I have played this one, though, and I beat it. I beat it on stream on Twitch. Took me forever, though. The last boss is a pain in the ass. And that is Valfaris. So Tiger Chainsaw, I think it was during one of our hangouts when we were out game hunting in Wisconsin, mentioned this, and he was like, he thought it was a great game, and it was super fun. It was like an old school NES hard style game, and it is a pixel graphics game. I want to say it's reminiscent of maybe the Super Nintendo, maybe the 32X, I guess. And it is a side-scrolling run and gun, but there's a lot of platforming involved. There's some puzzle solving, but it is super freaking hard. There's some modern day upgrades in it, like you have a skill tree. You get new weapons as you go, and you can and what is it called? Upgrade them as you go. You collect these certain icons that will allow you to upgrade your weapons. You have a sword and a gun. You get different swords and you get different types of guns, and you can swap between them on the fly. I think no, you can't. It's only when you're at a checkpoint you can do that. But you can upgrade each one individually. And man, this game is so freaking hard, but it is so much fun that I didn't want to stop. Like that shows you how much fun it is. Even though it is beyond difficult, I just kept on wanting to play, and eventually I beat it. And it's worth it. I hope there's a sequel, because they kind of tell you at the end of the game, like, oh yeah, this thing kind of got away, so I guess we're going to have to go hunt him now, and now let's go do it. And I don't know if it'll happen, but I hope. Super awesome. So it's not on my YouTube or my Twitch channel anymore. It got deleted because, like, after I think a month, streams get deleted to make room for everyone else's stuff. But I think I do have a clip of it happening. I think I clipped the ending. So awesome game. Highly recommend it. And it has a great freaking metal soundtrack. This one, I don't remember who. It might have been Nintendo that brought this one up on one of his pickup streams, or pickup videos, but I picked up Velocity. What is it? Velocity 2X Critical Mass Edition. And I don't remember what kind of game he thought it. I don't know if he had played it yet, but the way he described it made it sound super awesome. And then I go to play it, and I was just kind of like, eh. So it's kind of two games in one. It's kind of like a shmup, a vertically scrolling shmup, and it's also like a platformer. And you can kind of see it there, and it switches between the two. The platforming is fine. The shmup stuff sucks. But it does have a pretty awesome soundtrack. This includes 3 expansions, a soundtrack, the exclusive making of documentary, and a studio booklet. So, yeah, it comes with this thick booklet that is all about the making of the game. And like I said, there's also the soundtrack in there. So I'm kind of torn on this one. And like I said, I like half I like half of it, and I don't like the other half. But it has great reviews all over the back. More than 66 levels beyond the speed of light. Yeah, but I don't know if I want to play them. That game sucks. Retro Coop. Yeah, I did not enjoy what I played. So this one has a special box. So this is another Play Asia limited edition. This one is not falling apart, thank God. This one is East Asia Soft. So it's called Vesta. Have not played it yet, but I do believe this is a run and gun. Great adventure with more than 30 levels, many enemies, puzzles to solve, and much more. Yeah, I think this one is like a run and gun. I do believe. But I have not played it. But it does come with like this, actually a bigger box than usual. On the back, it kind of tells you what's what. Yeah, this is bigger than your standard limited edition from Play Asia. So it comes with an art book. Actually, no, it's a comic. Oh, I got the burps. It comes with a comic book. Oh, it's half comic book and half art book. That's why. That's why. Also comes with the certificate number. I got number 106 out of 2,500. That's not too bad. Thanks for your support. And it also comes with a soundtrack with 8 freaking tracks on it. 8 tracks. This is a PlayStation 4 game. I'm pretty sure there's more than 8 tracks. And it also comes with a bumper sticker of the game. Yay. Am I ever going to use that? Probably not. Get your ass back in there. So I need to make some time to play that. I have played this extensively. This is a dungeon crawler, but it has like 3 whole games in it. It is Victor Vran, the Overkill edition. So I love me a good dungeon crawler. I'm playing one right now. I'm playing Diablo 4. I officially have too many video games, sir. You ain't kidding. You ain't lying. It has the core Victor Vran game, which plays just like Diablo or Baldur's Gate or any of those types of games. It was actually pretty fun. But it also has Fractured Worlds and the Motorhead add-on. What does that say? Motorhead Through the Ages. So it's like 2 gigantic DLC packs added into the core game. And like I said, one of them is Motorhead themed. You can see it right there. And on the back, you've got Lemmy up at the top there. It was fun, but when it, like, how do I just say it? I love me a good dungeon crawler, like I say, but this one, for some reason, became more repetitive than normal. Like, Diablo 4, there's a lot to do, but it is the same thing over and over again. We're just like slapping buttons to beat things up and all that. You get some loot, you upgrade your character a little bit, you go on and you do it again, and you go on missions and all that. But for this game, for some reason, it really wore me down, and I just ended up like not wanting to play it anymore because it became so samey. And I never even got to the DLC. I was playing the core game, and I was just kind of like, yeah, you know what? I don't feel like playing this anymore, and I just moved on to something else. So I don't know if it has something to do with, just the way the game was made or whatever, or it does feel a little low budget. I will say that. But, it's just for some reason this one just did not hit the way like Diablo does or Baldur's Gate does. So, what was that? This one I got pretty recently. I want to say over the summer. It's a limited run game that I missed out on. I ended up getting it through Amazon because I guess Amazon carries the limited run games instead of Best Buy now. That is Virtuaverse. Anything that's Cyberpunk, I have to get, and I think this one is a challenging old school cyberpunk point and click adventure set in a future not so far away, narrating tales of technomancers. What does it say? AVR graffiti writers, hacker groups, tribes of cryptoshamans? I don't know what that is. Digital archaeology, epic cyber wars, and virtual reality debauchery. So anything that's cyberpunk, I have to have. She's licking her lips. But I haven't had a chance to play that one yet. But that looks pretty cool. Another drink. How's everybody doing tonight? Next up is one that I got not too long ago. Also, I pre-ordered this one like a year before it showed up, but it was available. No, this was the one that was holding everything up. I had made an order of like 4 games off of the Pixel Heart website, and because I ordered it all at the same time, it's kind of like limited run where once everything in that specific order that you made is available, then we ship it to you. So the thing was, everything was available except for this one thing. And I had to wait for it to get made, even though this had been available on the Switch like a year before. For some reason, it took forever for the PS4 version to get done. And that is Wakia, Reign of Dracula. This is essentially like a Castlevania Symphony of the Night knockoff. So it's a Metroidvania. But from what I understand, it is absolutely fantastic. And I had to have a copy of it because I love a Metroidvania, like I've said multiple times on this channel. And I ended up getting edition 123 out of 5,000. That is pretty damn good. It's on this reflective sticker right here. 123 out of 5,000. That is awesome. So I was actually thinking of playing this one like once I finish Diablo 4. So we'll see. Actually, it goes down here. Good to hear, man, boy Cave. Good to hear. And then we've got this stack. Like I say, I ended up buying all. Excuse me. I always end up buying all these damn games in this franchise, and I never freaking play them. I've only played the tabletop version of this game once, and I was not a fan of I don't. If rulers are involved, in playing, then it's a little too complicated for me. I just don't care. I just want to be blowing things up. So it's Warhammer, 40K, and it's 40K, right? Yeah, and there's so many games available. Like I just got one on the PS5 for crying out loud, but we'll go with what I got. So, which one? These are all out of order. Yep. So we've got Warhammer 40K Death Watch. This one I do believe is a dungeon crawler, but you're in the big mech suits and all that, so that's pretty awesome. Yeah, I think it's really, from what I can gather, it must be, wow, I keep coughing again. It must be really cheap to license Warhammer products because there's so many of them out there. So there's that, and then there's Warhammer Chaos Bane, and this one looks like another dungeon crawler RPG type thing. This is really good stuff, says Polygon. Unleash your fury. Yep. And then we have Warhammer The End Times Vermintide, and I think this one is a straight up RPG. I can't really tell. Together to the end, team up with 3 friends and work together to thin out the Ratman's forces and drive them out of the city. That might be another dungeon crawler. I don't know. And then we have the sequel to that, which is Warhammer 2, or Warhammer Vermintide 2. Vermintide 2 is the best 4-player co-op since Left 4 Dead. Fight together with your 4 of your friends against the forces of chaos and Skaven. And this epic 4-player co-op game set in the Warhammer Fantasy Battles world. Vermintide expands the intense first-person combat with... Okay, so these are both like playing Left 4 Dead. They're first-person games, but multiplayer co-op. Gotcha. I got you now. I got you. All right, then we have Wasteland 2, the director's cut, and Wasteland 3. So these are also dungeon crawlers, but these are post-apocalyptic dungeon crawlers. And I remember when part 2 came out, I remember I was at Best Buy and I saw it sitting there. I'm like, what the hell is that? I've never even heard of that before. I'm not a PC gamer, and the first game apparently came out on PC and was kind of a big hit. So I looked at the back and I was just like, oh, Mad Max Dungeon Crawler. Ooh, must get it. So I waited for it to get discounted and I bought it. Why does it look like Lemmy on the front there again? I don't know. And I guess that was popular enough that we got a third game, but there was no special edition of this. But eventually I will get around to playing these as well. This is one from I Am 8-Bit, and this I remember being pretty popular when it first came out digitally. And I remember everybody saying it was like, oh, it's like a 4-hour game, like between like a 4 and a 6-hour game or whatever, because it was like a walking sim kind of thing. That is what remains of Edith Finch. And I remember everybody telling me that this was very Lovecraftian, but it's like a point and click, like walking simulator type of thing. It's kind of like Myst almost, where you're trying to uncover a mystery about why somebody died, right? Yeah, and this Lovecraftian tale set in Washington State explore a series of short story vignettes to solve the mystery of the Finch family's cursed demise. So I remember Kinsey from the Metal Jesus group talking about how much she loved this. Did I just loosen the disc? I did. So that could be a quick beat. I could beat like in a day. So maybe I'll do that this weekend before we switch over to 2024. I've played this one a lot because I've always wanted to own the Super Nintendo game, but I'm not paying what is being asked for it. You can go to hell. That is Wild Guns Reloaded. So this is Wild Guns expanded to be widescreen. It's slightly remastered, but it's a run and gun kind of thing, but you're aiming into the screen. Like you're running along the front of the screen, but you're aiming into the back. So it's kind of like playing, I don't know what kind of, like Zybots, I guess. Whatever. But it is a Western-themed, actually like steampunk Western-themed shoot-'em-up kind of thing. And it is pretty fun. It is hard, but it's fun. And like I said, I wanted to get this because I am not paying what is being asked for the Super Nintendo game. It is obscene. And for pre-ordering that, I got this like keychain, which is pretty awesome. And I had a lot of fun playing it. I know Radical Reggie was trying to get me to buy it on the Switch, and I was just like, I don't want to play that on the Switch. I just want to play it at home when I'm sitting on my couch. Dude, I still have Atari 2600 games I haven't gotten to yet. Yeah, eventually I'll get around to playing all this stuff. I will. I mean, like, I'll play like a newer game and then like go back and play something older. This year I was trying to play as many new games as I possibly could. But I have already played through like a bunch of older stuff recently because I was like, yeah, I'm getting sick of this. I'm just play some retro stuff too. So now we've got Windjammers and Windjammers 2. These were both through a limited run, but these are actually SNK games that were available on the Neo Geo. And I originally played Windjammers on the Dreamcast because I've never owned a Neo Geo. I'm never going to be able to play one. I'm never going to be able to own one unless I win the damn lottery. But I bought a compilation, like a bootleg compilation that was like a bunch of SNK games. I think it had like 50 SNK like Neo Geo games on it, and one of them was Windjammers. And I ended up like I was curious. I was going through the list of everything that was there. I'm like, what is that? And I click on it, and it's basically Pong, but you're using frisbees, and you're throwing frisbees like back and forth along the stage that you're on, the board you're on. It's kind of like an Atari game where you have like one board or one screen, and like you're bouncing your frisbee around, and you can do tricks and like throw them fast, throw them slow, and all that. And then you have to block them so they don't get past you, because if when they get past you, the other person gets a point. And you can start doing all these crazy things to try to get past the other player. And it's really fun. There's different characters to choose from and all that. It's a lot. It's simple, but it's different. Does that make sense? It's simple. It's familiar because, like I said, it is essentially just Pong. But the spin that they put on it makes it super entertaining. It makes you want to keep playing. So I had to get those. Even though I haven't opened Windjammers, I have played it extensively, like I said, on my Dreamcast. So I have experience with that. I should play this. With the amount of time I've sank into playing Cyberpunk 2077, you think I would have played the game that CD Projekt Red made previously, but I still haven't played any of the Witcher games. So we're talking Witcher 3 Wild Hunt, the complete edition. I waited until this complete edition came out because there's a ton of DLC content for it. There's Hearts of Stone, Blood and Wine, and 16 other DLCs that are mixed into this thing. So eventually I'm going to have to, I'm saying to myself, I might play through this in 2024. Like, I'm going to have to, because I love Cyberpunk so much. I need to see what they did previously, because I've never played a CG Projekt Red game before Cyberpunk. So I'm definitely going to have to do it. Actually, I probably should play through part 2, which I have for the 360 up there first, then this. But it's a third-person action RPG, kind of like playing a, was it Dragon Age, I guess? But it is super expansive and massive. Tons of stuff to do. I hear everybody saying how great it is, to the point where when it came out on the Switch, it became an instant bestseller. Yes, please. Thank you, Manboy Cave. Hit that like button. Hit the thumbs up. Give me a subscribe if you like it. Pick this one up used, but this is one of those Telltale games. This is one of the few originals that they did. Most of the time, they just do licensed stuff like Walking Dead and Guardians of the Galaxy, Batman, stuff like that. But this is one of the originals, and that is The Wolf Among Us. I don't know, is this the complete? Yeah, this is the complete one. Yeah, The Walking Dead. I do believe this has everything in it. Some of these, the reason why I don't own a lot of these Telltale game story things is because normally it'll be like, oh, the first episode is on the disc, but the other 4 you have to download. You know, even though you're paying for it here, you get a free download for the rest of it. Or it has the first 4 episodes, but the final episode you have to download. I don't want that. I want it all on the freaking disc. Why is that so hard? If it takes up 2 discs, so be it. But this is an adventure game where it's all about dialogue and you making choices in the dialogue, what you say to people, what you end up choosing to do, and it affects the way the game is going to play out eventually. So, like I was talking about Star Trek Resurgence in last month's pickup, same thing with this. I'm looking forward to actually sitting down and playing through this. Oh, this is not. Okay, so this is a license. See, I had no idea. Now that I'm looking at the back, it says this is based on Fables from DC Comics / Vertigo, the award-winning comic book series by Bill Willingham. Wow, they can't make an original thing to save their life, can they? Well, maybe doing that and constantly having to license things is what did them in, because that must have cost a lot of money. And then we've got this gigantic freaking franchise. I've got every one of them on this console. Starting off with Wolfenstein: The New Order. So I do believe this is another reboot. So we had all those other Wolfenstein games. And Return to Wolfenstein on the Xbox. And then we rebooted in the PlayStation 3, Xbox 360 generation, where just Wolfenstein. And now we have Wolfenstein: The New Order. And then there was a spin-off, which I'm assuming was supposed to be DLC, but they thought it was good enough that it would get its own game, and that is Wolfenstein: The Old Blood. So you've got The New Order and The Old Blood. So those are essentially like parts of the same game. And then you've got Wolfenstein 2, The New Colossus, and then Wolfenstein Youngblood. And then there's another one that's available for the PSVR, which I will talk about in a separate video. So haven't played any of these. I think I got the first two used, and then the second two I got brand new. But first-person shooters, where it's like a sci-fi-sized version of World War II, fighting Nazis and all that, zombies and whatnot. And 2 is more of the same. And Youngblood, I don't remember. These are the daughters of Blazkowicz. So it follows like the twin daughters of Blazkowicz. I know that much, but I have not played it. But I love me a good first-person shooter, and those are some of the best. Those are from id, right? I don't think this one is. Yeah, these are from id. Yeah. I didn't think all of them were. I have played this one here and on my Master System. So I have the Wonder Boy: The Dragon's Trap. This is one of the remade, or is it remastered, I guess, version. But you can swap between the old original Master System version and the new graphics, which are very cartoony and really likable. I like the way the graphics look in the new version. They're pretty awesome. I got this through Limited Run, and I think this is the one that has the reversible artwork. So that's what it looks like originally, and that's kind of what the artwork looks like in the new version of the game. But I switched it over to the classic Master System artwork because I think that's more nostalgic to me. With password save, that's awesome. But side-scrolling, action, I wouldn't say RPG, but it's really, really fun. I like it a lot. The graphics in the Master System version are super charming. So I like that one quite a bit. And then we've got Wonder Boy Returns, which I do believe is a remaster of the original Wonder Boy arcade game, which became Hudson's Adventure Island because Hudson licensed Wonder Boy and put a couple little tweaks on some of the pixels and made their own game out of it. But I need to play this one because it looks absolutely fantastic. And there's another collection out there that has like a bunch of Wonder Boy games in one package. So I need to check that out. Wonder Boy Dragon's Trap, yeah. Oh, well, Youngblood, isn't that great? See, and I also have Cyberpilot on the PSVR, which I have not played. Haven't played this one. It's still sealable. You can see that I got this for $13 at Target on clearance. World War Z. So I had no interest in playing this because online, like multiplayer co-op games, were not really my thing. I've never really been into them. Then I played Friday the 13th, and I was like, this is actually pretty fun when you actually have people to play with. And then I started playing Predator Hunting Grounds, and that was even better. I ended up playing that a ton online with multiple groups of friends. And then I think it was Radical Reggie was saying that World War Z is actually a pretty good one of those types of multiplayer online co-op games. So I waited until I found a cheap copy, and then right after I bought this, like a complete edition came out. So I have not even bothered to upgrade because I still haven't played this, and I doubt it's even still online. So is it even worth having anymore? Probably not. But it looks like Left 4 Dead, if you ask me. And that's cool. I liked Left 4 Dead when I was playing, single player, but I never actually played it online. And I have played multiple other versions of this game beforehand, but I waited for this collection to come out before I bought it. And then I got this on Black Friday. That is the XCOM 2 collection. So I played the original XCOM on the PS1, which I thought was great, even though I felt I needed a mouse because playing with the controller kind of sucks. And then I played XCOM, what is it, Enemy Unknown on the PS3, which I borrowed from the library. And I was like, I don't want to give this back. I want to keep on playing. So naturally, I wanted to get part 2 when it came out, but I had a feeling because of the way that we got like 2 more add-ons, but they were considered separate on the PS3, that there was going to be some DLC for that. So I waited, and I was right. So there's 4 complete DLC packs in here. It says includes XCOM 2, War of the Chosen expansion, and 4 DLC packs. So, and this is heavy too. Maybe I should just open it and see what's in here because I've never actually looked inside. Unboxing, y'all. Because this is heavy. I want to see what's in here. It says over $100 in value, which is why I did not want to buy everything individually. I was wait till they're all in one place. And then, like I said, I got this on Black Friday, so it was discounted already. So inside, it's got 2 discs. So you got the XCOM 3 data disc and the play disc. And don't tell me that this is a bunch of codes I got to redeem, because I'll be pissed. No, it is not. It's all on the discs. Thank you, because it might have been expired for all I know. Whew. Dodge that bullet. Shit, come on. Get in. Okay. So I need to play that because I absolutely love these like strategy tactical games. War with Z is fun. My favorite of these co-op games is Payday 2 and Monster Hunter. I've never played Monster Hunter or Payday 2. But Predator was one I played them a lot. Aliens, Fireteam Elite was amazing. Just started playing the Ghostbusters, Spirits Unleashed with Captain Algebra. And we're waiting for Jason from Corpse Flood to get like a card so we can get some PlayStation Plus for a little while so he can play with us because he's been wanting to play it too. And Cap and I are stuck in it because we actually need more than 2 players to beat a certain stage that we're on. But and now the new one is Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Evil Dead was all right. I didn't really play that one all that much. I thought it was kind of disappointing. But Texas Chainsaw I want to try out. But finding people to play with it's getting harder. Next up we have Xeno Crisis, which is a modern retro game that is kind of like playing Smash TV. So you're looking down into like an arena, and you move your character with the left thumbstick, and you shoot by using the left or the right. Sorry, control with the left thumbstick, and you fire with the right thumbstick, like you would in the arcade version of Smash Brothers. But this one is all sci-fi themed instead of a game show. There's like aliens all over the place, and you go from room to room trying to get to the end of the stage and fight a boss. And it is super, super fun. I remember this is available on like a bunch of different consoles. You can get this on the Genesis. You can get it on the Vita. I think it's available on the Neo Geo. Also, like they have ported, whoever made this, I don't know. I got this from Strictly Limited. Was it Bitmap Bureau? They have ported it to like everything they possibly could. I think it's on the Dreamcast also. I need to get the Dreamcast version. What's up, Diabetes? The Xenoblade soundtrack is killer. Yeah, the Xeno Crisis is awesome. I like it. And I think I need to open this one up too because the disc is loose again. Damn it, I'm opening up all my games, man. But I have not played this. This is one of the earlier limited run games I got. Oh, I just killed its value. Better than having a scratch disc. Yep, it came loose. Anyway, we're talking Zeo Drifter. This is limited run number 8. The 8th game they ever released. And this one is, I do believe, a Metroidvania, but it's, from what I understand, it is super short. So, like I said multiple times during these streams, when Limited Run would release something on the PS4 and the Vita, I would usually buy both because I'd be like, oh, I played on the go too. That's so... I was stupid. I should just pick the version because I ended up getting rid of the version on the Vita. But Zeo Drifter, it looks super fun. I need to play through it. If it's another quick beat, maybe I'll just play through it this weekend. And then we're getting to this big-ass franchise, and we're getting close to the end, everybody. So this, like I said, this is going to be a shorter stream. This will be just over an hour. But we got this big, long-ass franchise. Oh, God. Yep. Okay. So we'll start off with this. I have not played... so I have played this series before, but not on this console. I've played this on the PS2. And that's the Yakuza games. So we're going to start off with Yakuza 0. And this is the prequel before all the other ones, obviously. But since I had not beaten all the other games, so this one's released after part 5. So it's like the whole, I guess the way you're supposed to play these is 1 through 5, then this, then 6, and then everything that came after. So since I have not played through all of them, I have avoided playing this. And I've been told, do not start with 0 if you're starting from the beginning. Play at least 1 and 2, then go and play 0, then you can go and play the rest. Because you need to have a good sense of the characters before you go back and play this one. So these are all beat-em-ups, but they're kind of open world. Maybe not completely open world, but they're open world-ish. And there's a lot of talking involved, a lot of mini-games involved. And it's goofy, and it's awesome at the same time. I mean, come on, the series is still going, so it had to hit a nerve or a chord somewhere, right? So I have not played 0 yet at all, but I will eventually. And that leads us to the remakes of the first 2 games, which are Yakuza Kwami, which is a complete remaster of the first game. So if I'm going to start, I'm going to have to play through this because I played a good 2 or 3 hours worth of the original game on the PS2, and I was like, this is really cool. I'll come back to this when I finish the game that I'm currently playing because I was curious as to what this was when I bought a copy of it. And I was like, I like it. I'll come back, and I just never did because I'm stupid. That's the way I work sometimes. So if I'm going to play through any of these games, it's going to be, or any of the versions of the first game that I have, it's going to be this one now. So we'll see how that goes. And then they remade part 2 as well from the PS2. This one was the hardest game to get on this console, or on the PS2 at least. So I remember when I got back into collecting, I found Yakuza 1 pretty easily, and it was pretty cheap. And then, like, I want to say, it was within the first year of me getting back into collecting. I went to the exchange down the street here, and they had a copy of Yakuza 2 in their case. And it was like $150. And I was like, you can eat my ass. There's no way in hell I'm buying that for that price. And then eventually down the line, like I want to say like 3 years later, since I had Yakuza 2 in my wish list on Amazon, when it becomes available, you'll get like a message usually saying, hey, this thing that's on your wish list that was previously unavailable, you put down that you wanted to be notified when it came into stock. Well, it's in stock. I'm like, how did Yakuza 2 become in stock? It's been out of print forever. And I look, and apparently Sega either found new stock or they printed up new copies because there were brand new copies available for the regular price of the game, like $50. So I was like, all right, fine. I ordered it from Amazon, and it was a brand new copy from Sega. I don't know what happened, but I got a copy of it. So I was kind of like, well, after all that shit to get part 2, they eventually just re-released a remake of it. I was like, God damn it. But I'm probably going to play this version now anyway because it's been remastered and probably has some quality of life improvements. So both of these are steel books with a plastic slip cover, which I will open now because why the hell not? I'm going to play these eventually. I'm opening everything on stream, guys. It's just to artificially lengthen the stream. Oh, boy. Okay. So, yeah, it's a steel book with a plastic slip. So that's cool. And on the back, you've got like the Yakuza tattoo. What is in here? It's the game. It's pretty cool. I'm starting to get into steel books. When it comes to like movies, steel books are like usually like 50% of the kind that I get now for some reason. Not that I'm out looking for them, but just all the cool stuff is coming out on steelbooks. And they look really cool, so I buy them. And like I said, part 2 is a steelbook as well. So you got that, and you take it off, and it just basically gets rid of the title. And on the back, you've got the other Another character with a back tattoo? Sure. Okay. Which leads us to this. So there is a big collection that got released to make up for the fact that one of these games was never released in the US, and to finish it off because we got the first two games remastered. I don't think they wanted to do it to all of them because I guess the other two are like super cheap. You can get them for like dirt right now. Like they're very inexpensive. So why remake them if people can just buy the original ones for cheap? So this is the Yakuza Remastered Collection. So these are slightly remastered. And you get, well, the whole thing looks like this. And it has like a slipcase that comes out, and this holds the 3 games, which has, god damn it, open up, Yakuza 3 and 4 on one disc and Yakuza 5 on another. And 5 was the one that we never got over here in the States. It also comes with a sticker. For some reason, that all the random things, a sticker, sure. 5 was never released over here officially. The other 2, 3, and 4 released on the PlayStation 3, and then we also had a spin-off, which was about zombies called Yakuza Dead Souls, which they did not remake because it's not that great. But the cool thing is, since Part 5 never came out on the PS3 over here, when you buy this set, you get like a dummy case for Part 5 to put on your shelf if you want. So it's got the original artwork. There's really nothing on the back, but you know, if you want to have this on your shelf to complete the set on the PS3, you can. But I just leave it in here because there's really no point. So I just wish that this was not a slip case. I wish this was an actual snap case like one of these, or a steel book or something, because this just looks silly on my shelf. So there's that. Which leads us to Yakuza 6, The Song of Life, which is the final mainline game in Yakuza. Then they went and did all these spin-offs. So you got like the Judgment games, you've got the Like a Dragon games. And this one I hear is absolutely amazing. And I was so excited for this because all of my friends had been playing these games. And I was just kind of like, you know what? I like what I played at the first one. And I just kind of want to, since this is the last game in the franchise, I really wanted to do this. And I ended up getting it dirt cheap. This got discounted on like a special like one-day clearancey thing that they did on Amazon. And I luckily had this in my wish list, and I got notification that it was available at a discounted price. And that is the Yakuza 6 Song of Life, the After Hours Premium Edition. And I display this proudly on my shelf over here. And shows you what it comes with. Has bigger images of what is in the game. Or in the set. So that comes off. This is super dusty because I've only opened this maybe twice. And you open it up and you've got this box that comes out. So you've got some coasters to start off with. And then you've also got this little tchotchke bag, which actually has these stone ice cubes in it. You put them in the freezer and they stay colder longer, but they don't melt like ice. And the game was up here on the top, so that was where the game was being held. And on the inside of this extra box, come on, open up. Come on, you can do it. You have glasses, like drinking glasses that are. If there's one sound that drives me crazy, it's this right here. It's like squeaking. I'm not going to take these out. Squeaking styrofoam. But you have these glasses that are like etched with like the back tattoos of the characters on the surface. So the whole point of this set is drinking, obviously. Get your ass in there. There we go. Now, putting this back together is going to be a pain. Okay. And then... No! Damn it. I'll leave this for later. Okay. Anyway. So like I said, I had to get that because it was the final game in the franchise, like the numbered franchise. So I wanted to kind of go out and have it go out with a bang with me. So had to get that. Haven't played the game yet, though. I haven't played any of these on this console. Ugh. And then there's the spinoff, the first big spinoff, and that is Yakuza Like a Dragon. This is also available on the PS5, and I don't know if I might upgrade or not, depending on when I get around to playing this, if I like it enough or not. This is the Daiichi Steelbook Edition. Has another one of those stickers in it. And the thing about this one is they kind of changed up the gameplay. So where those are, the mainline ones are a beat 'em up. This one is like a beat 'em up RPG. It's like turn-based almost, where like you are still beating somebody up, but you have to take turns doing so. And I was watching Nintendo stream this, and he was like the whole time going, "This is the best game I've ever played. This is so goddamn cool." And he's like, "I like the original games, but this is so cool the way they've changed it up, so it doesn't feel like the original games. It's like a whole new thing, and it's become its own. Like the Like a Dragon games are their own thing now." So I'll eventually get around to playing this one. It looks super fun. And to the point where watching Nintendo stream, it made me want to buy it, and I ended up finding that version of it pretty cheap. Those Yakuza MacGuffins are awesome in Australia. I think it was Yakuza 5. It came with a ramen bowl, chopsticks, and a bamboo sushi roller. That is pretty cool. Like this whole, I got this Yakuza-based bar set. If I ever decided to use this stuff, everyone that comes over would be like, "Are you sure you're not a gangster? Let me see your back." Here is another limited run game. I don't know if I'm going to keep this one. I don't remember much about it or why I bought it. But then again, I should because like I said, I was always buying every single game that came out. But this one's called Yesterday Origins. It looks like an adventure game. Who said immortality was eternal? I'm John Yesterday, and so are you. You've been alive for over 500 years. In 1501, you underwent an alchemic ritual, making you immortal. Whenever you die, you come back to life at the age of your first death. However, you don't remember a thing. An original storyline and intricate puzzles await you in Yesterday Origins, a new adventure game from Pendulo Studios. So it's an adventure game. Sure. I'll play it eventually, I guess. Or get rid of it. I don't know. We'll see. Then we have both of these games. So, because... Does Nintendo own the rights to this? No, it's Rare. Rare owns the rights to it. So, there was a Kickstarter or an Indiegogo or whatever to get this off the ground because everyone was saying we want another Banjo-Kazooie game, but Rare owns it and Microsoft owns Rare, and the last game in the franchise that was made was on the 360, and it was I just said it too, Banjo-Kazooie Nuts and Bolts, which was terrible. I mean, my opinion is it was one of the most god-awful things I'd ever played. Why it had to do with like cars and shit, I have no idea, but it was terrible. But people were saying that they wanted another like mainline, like a real Banjo-Kazooie game, but Rare was not given the license to do that by Microsoft. So people that used to work for Rare decided to go off and do their own thing and create like their own version of Banjo-Kazooie with this ukulele franchise. So this was kickstarted by Team 17. They're a bunch of ex-Rare employees, and they decided to do their own version instead of it being a bear and what is it? It's a bear and a bird. It's a bear and like a parrot, right? I don't own any of the Banjo-Kazooie games. This time it's a chameleon and a bat. Basically the same thing. Like the bat is always on your back and it lets you fly when you jump or coast, like float. So same kind of thing, but it did not get great reviews if I remember correctly, but it sold a ton. So I guess the Kickstarter was so successful that they ended up releasing it wide. And I guess it was only supposed to be like for the Kickstarter backers, but it came out and it sold like crazy, but the reviews were not great. I've never played a Banjo-Kazooie game in my life, so I have no nostalgia for it. So I was not really all that interested, but I was just kind of like, well, if the demand was there, I mean, it had to have been a good product to begin with, right? And I love Rare, but I never played Banjo-Kazooie. So I wanted to see what it was all about, and I bought it, but I have not felt the urge to play it. And I guess it sold so much that they made a sequel. So you got Yooka-Laylee and the Impossible Lair, and this one I remember got like terrible reviews. And I think the franchise is like dead now. So just like Banjo-Kazooie, you got 2 games in that franchise, and you got 2 games in the Yooka-Laylee franchise. So whatever. But these are like collectathons, like 3D platformer collectathons, like Spyro, like Crash Bandicoot, that kind of thing. Donkey Kong 64. So old school collectathon that was popular during the PS1 and Nintendo 64 days. First Yooka-Laylee game released. Immortality from Chemicals, if only. First Yooka-Laylee game released, and they had to patch JonTron's voice out of the game because of reasons. Yeah, JonTron ended up being a piece of shit. Did he pledge enough money to it to get his voice in the game? Is that why he was there, or did they ask him to do it because he was a big Banjo-Kazooie fan? Had to get this. Got this from Limited Run. But this was digital only for some reason. Even though it's a super popular franchise, they decided to make it digital only. Don't ask me why. But Ys Origin. So this is a prequel to all the Ys games. And I understand it is pretty short. You can probably beat this in like one day. Essentially, you're ascending a tower, if I remember correctly from what I was told. So it's like you're going up this tower trying to get to the top. And when you get to the top, final boss, game over kind of thing. But it is like your typical Ys game. It's an action RPG. So, but it is super short, like I said. So I had to get this because I was super excited to own it, but not excited enough to play it. Pretty sure it's because he's friends with Gant Kirkhope and he brought him in. Yeah, I wouldn't doubt it. And the last game I'm going to talk about is something that I just talked about in my end of the month stream from November, or end of the month pickup stream. And that is the Zero Tolerance Collection. Ordered this a long time ago from Strictly Limited. And I'm assuming it's the same situation with Limited Run. Like, I ordered a bunch of things at the same time, and all of them needed to be shipped at the same time together because then we're going to break them up. So I had to wait for whatever was taking the longest to get finished, and then the shipment came. And excuse me, I got the hiccups now. I got 3 games in that shipment. So what this is 3 Zero Tolerance games on one collection. So the original Zero Tolerance was a Genesis game, which I own and I love. I talked about it in my Diamonds in the Rough on the Genesis video like years ago. And I was not aware that there were I don't know if these are official. I think one of them might have been an official sequel that was in production but never got finished. And then the other one might be a fan game or something that just uses all the data from the original game to make a whole new game out of it, or what, I don't know. But it has Zero Tolerance Underground, and Zero Tolerance Beyond. So the original game plus 2 more, and it's a first-person shooter on the Genesis that actually works and is super fun, probably because your little viewing window is about that big. But it works extremely well, and it is a lot of fun. Can't wait to see what the other games are like. I'm assuming they're all going to be exactly the same. But what does this say? Oh, there's something in German on the back. Whatever. So had to get that because I'm a huge fan of the original. I want to see what these other games in the series are all about. I might pop this open tonight and install it to see what's up. So that is it. That is all the games left in my PS4 collection. I still have the PSVR games to talk about, but I'll do that later. Next console I'll be talking about is probably going to be the Xbox One, and then the Switch, and then the PSVR. So this is the final one of these collection live streams for this year. So starting next Thursday, it'll be 2024. Well, next Thursday will be in 2024. So these are going to be retitled Video Game Collection 2024 live streams. So I'll be back with the Xbox One. I might just do one video because I don't have a lot of Xbox One games. Everything, as you can see, everything that I would have maybe bought on the Xbox One if that was my collection of choice is on my PS4 already. So there's really no point in having that many. Just maybe some games that I found cheaper on the Xbox One, the exclusives that I wanted, and that's about it. There's not a whole lot there. Anyway, I will be back on Saturday night with the final 2023 recent pickups live stream. So that will be for everything I've picked up in the way of movies and video games and other things on physical media in the month of December. And there's going to be a lot. It's going to be like 80% movies and 20% video games. Be warned. But there's a lot of rad stuff that I picked up this month. So be there for that. It'll be 8:30 p.m. Central on Saturday the 30th. I will talk to you all then, hopefully. And I will see you next time. So this is Chris from Midlife Crisis Media signing off. Have a good night, everybody. Stay safe out there. Talk to you next time. Bye.